What's going on, YouTube? Free Mind's Eye here again with just one of the most craziest fucking amazing builds ever. It is just fucking madness. If you're one of those people that like tried the Mecromancer out and you just couldn't figure out how to use it, or if you're one of those people that are like, man, the Mecromancer sucks, it's fucking garbage. Nah, not with this build. This build is just straight up fucking madness. Like when I was trying to record gameplay to show you guys like how I would use this build and everything, I just kill shit so fast with this build, and it is just so devastating. Now, like just to get into it, because this is I actually have two favorite builds, like, and they're both tied at the #1 spot, and they're both Mecromancer builds, and this is one of them. I'll show the other one in another upload, but this you'll see why this is my favorite build. It's just fucking chaos. But I'll do what I did last time. I'll explain why I did what I did, and then I'll show gameplay, and I'll try to speed it up here. So I'll be talking a little fast, so excuse me. But yeah, I know like since this is my favorite build, I'll probably drag on a little bit. But all right, like let's just get started. This build is it's basically you adapt to the situation at hand. This build is focused around the flame of the Firehawk shield and the black hole shield. I prefer the black hole, but I'll explain to you why here in a little bit, why I have these other shields too. These are just for experimenting with. But this main build is focused around the Firehawk and just the devastation it is. You want to try to find one like with mine, maybe with a longer recharge delay, because the longer the Firehawk is well let me back up. When your shield is depleted with the Firehawk, it releases Fire Nova Blast continuously until your shield starts to recharge. So if you find one with a longer delay, it'll be a little bit better because that'll be more Nova Blast. But like I said before, it's all about the adapting to the situation at hand. So if you don't know, like there's 4 elements in the game. Well, 5 really if you count explosive. But you want to use incendiary weapons against fleshy targets, corrosive against robot and armored targets, shock against highly really high shielded targets, and then slag will just multiply the damage for you using the other elements. Now explosive is just the general like all around good little whore or something. I don't know what the fuck it is, but there are enemies that are you get the damage multiplier with it. But yeah, with depending on like what level your incendiary is, your corrosive is, will determine the multiplier that is added to the target. So say if you have a top tier incendiary weapon, I'll be dealing 4 times more damage to a flesh target than a like say a robot. So this is what this build is all about, like just adapting to the situation at hand with your weapons. Now, this is my main setup when I'm going up against flesh targets. I'll show here in a second about when I go up against robotic targets and everything and armor targets. But we really don't need to use shock weapons with this build because we have enough skills and a grenade that'll take their shields down for us, no problem. And I'll get into that here in a bit too. But you don't have to use the pyrophobia. I just like to use it, change of pace from the Norfleet. The Norfleet is one of the best rocket launchers in my opinion, but I just decided to change it up a little bit. But my favorite SMG is like any of the TDRs, especially with the Mecromancer, because if you don't know, the Mecromancer has a skill called Anarchy. You know what it does is you can build stacks of it, and the higher the Anarchy, the more damage you deal, but the less accurate it is. So with extremely high Anarchy, you could still, when you reload this and you still have a full clip in there, it'll deal all the damage of the bullets multiplied with the Anarchy. So it is just a devastating combo. I absolutely love the TDR SMGs. You don't have to use this SMG. It's all like personal preference. This is just what I run when I'm going up against flesh targets. But now for the shotguns, I really love to go with like the Moxxi weapons with this build. Because if you don't know, the Moxxi weapons will restore health directly proportional to a certain percentage of the damage you're dealing. Like I know the Moxxi SMG, the good touch and the bad touch, heal you for about 2% of your health, and then the Ruby is 12%. I'm not sure about the Heartbreaker; it's probably like 2 or 5. But while the Firehawk is going off and you have one of the Moxxi weapons out, it is just insane health rate restoration. It is just, you'll notice during the gameplay, my health will drop way down like super fast on blink of an eye, and then it'll go shoot straight back up constantly, up and down, up and down, up and down, like just fucking stupid fast. This build is insane. And you can get this from Moxxi herself in the bar here in Sanctuary. I forget what the mission is called. But for the assault rifle, I absolutely fucking love the hail. I recommend getting this weapon in every fucking element. This thing does fucking work. It is just insane. It is perfect for getting enemies around corners or hiding under cover, enemies at different elevation. It is just insane. Don't get me wrong, it will take a while for you guys to get used to it if you've never used it before. I'll show it here real quick. It shoots in an arc. So I mean, it's perfect. I rock this gun on all of my characters now. It is just insanely good. I absolutely love it. And since it's a Moxxi weapon, it'll heal you a percentage of your health. Now I don't really need to go over the shield. You can get the shield from Lilith. I forget what the I think it's like cult following is what the quest is called. But for the class mods, I mainly rock the Swift Anarchist because it's just that raw gun damage boost. The weapon accuracy is minus 35. That's the only downside, but it gives us plus 5 annoyed android, plus 4 fancy mathematics, and plus 4 death from above. Now we don't really use death from above or fancy mathematics. We do use the annoyed android skill, but I'll get to why here in a little bit. I just prefer the Swift Anarchist just for that raw gun damage boost. Now the class mod is it's another one of the adaptive items we have to use. Now, if like I said, going up against flesh targets, you want to use a incinerary relic. That'll give you a boost to incinerary weapons. And then for robotic opponents or armored opponents, we want to use the corrosive relic. And I love these new ones since it increases the cooldown rate of a nice percentage. The more we have Death Trap out, the better. It is just. And, like, that's another thing, too. Death Trap, I forgot to mention, he is a fucking boss now. Oh, my God. Like, he is just basically a fucking nuclear bomb constantly going off. Like, I usually never rely on Death Trap, and you don't have to with this build, but once he's out, it's just like, holy shit, he fucks shit up, actually. It is just amazing. And then for our grenades, it's up to you what grenade you want to use. I prefer the Quasar, since when you throw it, it sucks the enemies in towards each other and puts them in a nice little group so you can fucking just destroy them, smoke them up. But yeah, I think that's about it. Oh, let me show what I would use for the robots. Actually, if I was going up against armored targets, I would use the I like the Hive. I never really use it, but I figured I would for this build. And for I would use the same exact SMG, but a corrosive version. If I can find it here. Oh, there it is. And then for the shotgun, I prefer to use another Moxxi shotgun since it'll heal us. And I love the health restoration. Use the corrosive slow hand ×3, and then I'd use a corrosive hail. But as for shield wise, you're probably thinking, well, like, this build is based around the Firehawk, but incinerary damage doesn't do that much against robotic targets. Don't worry. Your boy Freeminds has got the solution for you. Now, I prefer to use the black hole. It's an amazing shield, sucks them in and does a huge shock damage. But you can also, I've been experimenting with the Impaler, a regular Nova corrosive shield, and the Deadly Boom. They all work extremely well against robotic targets, but I just prefer the black hole because, like I said, it sucks them in, and then it's really easy to pick them off once they're real close with the corrosive weapons. But mainly, this build is focused around the Firehawk. But I think that's it about what I want to talk about the weapons. Moving on to the skills, I think there's about like 4 skills that are it's an absolute must with this build, and then you guys can experiment on your own and see what it is. But we mainly focus on this tree, Best Friends Forever. I'll just get straight into it. It's Best Friends Forever and Ordered Chaos with the Anarchy. But what it is actually I'll start with this tree. Anarchy, killing an enemy without reloading prematurely will add a stack, and each stack adds 1.75% gun damage, and then minus 1.75 accuracy per stack. Now our max Anarchy stacks is 150, but with pre-shrunk Cyberpunk, we can add another 250 stacks of Anarchy. Now I usually, with this build, I'll activate Discord, which I'll be getting to here in a second. But I do like how sometimes, like, if I just want to change a pace, just have max Anarchy and just fuck shit up. I like it. It's basically like 2 builds in one. But we put 1 point into Anarchy, and then we have to put the rest into Smaller, Lighter, Faster. Increases our reload speed and decreases our magazine side. less magazine size and faster reload speed means faster anarchy stacks. So that is just fucking awesome. But coming down into a tier 2 increases our maximum number of anarchy stacks. Now, you can, if you don't want the max anarchy stacks and you're going up against robot targets and you're using a black hole or the deadly bloom or the corrosive spike shield, I'd recommend using blood soaked shields, but you don't have to with this build because you really don't want to use blood soaked shields if you're using the Firehawk, because we want our Firehawk to be out as long as possible, getting those Nova bursts going off like as long as possible. The more the better, and the more health restoration. It is just insane. But I usually never use blood soaked shields, but on the occasion, if I'm around the machine that'll let me change my skills and everything, I'll switch to the black hole, and then I'll put the blood soaked shields on. But yeah, I highly suggest not using the blood soaked shields if you're using the Firehawk against flesh targets. I always roll with the pre-shrunk cyberpunk. But coming down, now our class mod gives us +5 into annoyed android. It increases the movement speed of Death Trap. Now I'll be getting to why here in a bit, why this is like really important in my opinion. But yeah, it just increases the movement speed. It's a must in my opinion with this build. And then we put the rest of the point into a Discord. Now Discord, as you can see, when you reload prematurely, it'll increase your fire rate, your accuracy, and regenerate a portion of your health. I absolutely love this fucking skill. If you're in a like shit like situation and you're just like you want to kick ass, it's higher fire rate, means more bullets are hitting them, and accuracy, more bullets, and some health regeneration. It's a bread and fucking butter skill, as I'll put it. And also the anarchy is bread and butter, along with annoyed android, bread motherfucking butter. But now this skill I absolutely like. If you're gonna go with Discord, I highly recommend Rational Anarchist. If you have 0 stacks of anarchy and the next time you unload a clip without reloading prematurely, you automatically get 25 stacks of anarchy. Now we don't really need death from above. I mean, I just found it on my other Mecromancer builds I do use it, but for this one we really don't, unless you want to go with max anarchy stacks. So like I said, this is basically like 2 builds in one, but I'll just show you how I use it and like why I use it, what I use, like I said, blah blah blah. But moving over to our bread and motherfucking butter tree, our second bread and butter tree, we have best friends forever. Now Close Enough, this is such an amazing combo with high anarchy stacks and Close Enough, because the more anarchy you have, the less accurate you are. And what this does is when your bullets miss a target, they have a chance to ricochet off and deal 50% damage less. I mean minus 50% damage if it hits a target. But this is just a must with anarchy in my opinion. Now moving down into tier 2, we don't really need fancy mathematics in my opinion, because I want my Firehawk shield to be down as much as possible, or my black hole, the black hole shield doesn't really matter, but I want my Firehawk shield to be down as much as possible and as long as possible, and this increases the recharge delay and rate, which if it was just shield recharge rate I would use it, but since it's got that delay, we don't need it in my opinion. Now, we definitely don't need this skill, since we want our shields to be depleted as long as possible. And the longer the better, the more Nova Blast, the more healing if we're using a Moxxi weapon. Now, with the Death Trap abilities and everything, like we're only going to use the Explosive Clap and the movement speed one, since increasing his movement speed while the Firehawk is going off means he'll get from enemy A to enemy B as fast as possible, dealing more damage, or likely dealing more damage because of his movement speed and everything. But I'll get into the explosive clap here in a second. But in tier 2, we put the skills into a better half. Increases our fire rate when our magazine is half empty. That's plus 60%. Now I know there's other builds out there, and I'll show a video about it, but you can get up to, I think it's 230% fire rate bonus with a Mecromancer. It's just insane. This is a must-have in my opinion. Fucking bread and butter. But coming down into a tier 3. We put 4 points into Potent as a Pony. Increases our maximum health. Since our shield is always going to be depleted and we're always going to have high health restoration, the Mecromancer will thrive with this skill. And then we put the last point into Upshot Robot. While he's active, this basically rewards Death Trap for doing his job. Adds 5 seconds, and he does his fucking job. Finally, with this build, he will do his job and just destroy faces. They will fucking melt off. The orphans will be made. But coming down into tier 4, we put 1 point I decided to put 1 point into explosive clap because this will help bring their shields down. I usually don't use shock, but this will help bring the shields down. It usually does in between 7 to a million damage, which is also nice. But now we have to put 4 points into some of these skills. I decided to put 1 extra point into Potent as a Pony for that more health, and then I put the rest into Cooking Up Trouble, which when your magazine is full, you'll have a health regeneration, which is real nice. But now coming down here, we want Death Trap out as much as possible. I mean, we don't have to rely on him. This is how devastating this build is. But once he's out, it is just, you guys are an unstoppable force. So the faster he's out, the better. The more survivability, the more versatility. Now coming down, this is what makes this fucking build so amazing. Grants a copy of your shield to Death Trap. Your Firehawk shield will be implanted on a Death Trap, and he'll have a shield. And once his is depleted, his Firehawk will go off. And I've noticed that he'll usually get off between 5 and 7 bursts once his shield are done. 5 and 7 Nova bursts, where I usually only get 2 or 3, and that's with my badass rank turned off. That's another thing too. If you have really high badass rank, like anything above 30 or 50%, I recommend turning it off, because you want your Firehawk shield to be going off as long as possible and dealing the most fucking carnage as long as possible. Now coming over to the middle, I know this is dragging on, so I'll be talking a little bit faster. Put points into more pep. Increases your chances to burn, electrocute, corrode, and slag, which is always fucking nice. A bonus in my book. Coming down into tier 2, Shock Storm. This is another one of our bread and motherfucking butter skills to help get those shields down. Killing an enemy with a critical hit causes an electrical storm, dealing electrocute damage to nearby enemies. Electrical storms are also caused by Death Trap whenever he kills an enemy. Now notice how it said he doesn't have to deal a critical hit. Only I deal a critical hit and cause an electrical storm. But Death Trap's going to be getting multiple kills with this build, causing multiple shock storms. And any enemies around Death Trap, when the shock storm goes off, their shields will be down. And I've seen like their shields will go down. It'll be about 1/7 or 1/8 of their health will be down too. But this is just a must-have. It is just devastating. Going down into a tier 3, the 1 point into shock, when you reload your weapon, it causes electrical explosion. This will take about a quarter of the shield down. It's nice for that 1 point and some must-have in my opinion. Now we put the rest of the points into Evil Enchantress, which killing an enemy increases the damage that your burn, electrocute, and corrode status effects deal for a short period of time. Now mine's only plus 18%, but I mean you could make it higher depending on how you use this build and how you want to go about using or changing the skills and everything. But this is a must-have too. Just increases the damage since this build is all adaptive about like the situation at hand. Incendiary weapons against flesh target, corrosive against robots and whatnot. But yeah, I think that's about it really. Oh, I forgot to mention real quick. If you guys noticed in my backpack, I don't use a single slag weapon with this build. You don't have to. That is what's fucking awesome. I mean, you can, but you really don't even need to use slag. It is just the multiplier boost you get for using the right element against the right enemy is just fucking bread and motherfucking butter. It is just devastating. Like I said, this is my favorite build. I have to pry myself away from this fucking build because it is so much fun to use, and you guys will see here in a minute. But what I'll do is I'll show gameplay of how I use this build against flesh targets in a Pyro Pete's bar, and then this build versus robotic targets at the Orchasm robot horde deathmatch kind of challenge thing. I don't know what the fuck it's called, but yeah, I'll show you guys that. But the gameplay it's pretty short because this is just devastating. And then the Orchasm challenge one, I really didn't want to show the full fucking half an hour, so I just showed the very beginning of just like you guys could get the idea of just how devastating this build is. But yeah, it's fucking crazy. One more thing I wanted to mention really fast is like as long as your Firehawk is depleted and enemies keep shooting at you, your Firehawk will go off. But if you feel like your Firehawk isn't going off enough, what you can do is you can damage yourself with certain weapons, like this slow hand here. You could actually shoot it at the ground and do damage to you, so it goes off purposely. And like while you're fighting enemies and everything, it'll be healing yourself since it's a Moxxi weapon, and you could make it last longer. Along with this, the Orphan Maker as well too. So the Orphan Maker deals 5% damage to yourself. and you can keep your Firehawk going off a little bit longer too. And also, if you don't really understand the elemental tiers 1 through 4, I'll put a link in the description to the wiki about it that goes into like crazy detail with it. But let's get to the gameplay real quick because this is going on way too long. Alright, let's get this going. As you see, I'm just using the same equipment and everything as I showed you, just with the incinerary and everything. Alright, let's do this. Chuck a grenade, get death trap out. You notice that little red bar there. You'll notice that it'll constantly like replenish, like it'll keep going up and down, and that shows how many kills he's getting. It's ridiculous. But activate some Discord after getting that anarchy stack. Oh, here we go. Ain't shit. That Heartbreaker is just disgustingly good. Oh, shields down. What you got? Ain't none. Ain't none. That's dude. Look how fast. I told you about the health restoration. Look how fast and up and down it goes. Ridiculous. Just devastation. Burn on the babies. They don't even stand a chance. Oh, nice. This is check one out. Wait for our shield to recharge. There it is. Let's get this grenade to deplete our shield. Reload. Come on. Seriously. There we go. Oh, I love this build so much. Oh, shield to recharge. Let's get him down again. Oh. Look at that health restoration. It's just madness. Ah! Oh, where they? Oh, they're over here. Oh, excuse me, Death Trap. I didn't know you were badass all of a sudden. Oh, those guys are usually a pain in the ass to kill too. Not with this build. It is just fucking ridiculous. Crushers, not a problem. Not a problem. Go ahead, deplete my shields. Oh, there you go. Dead. He did. Oh, he's dead. Oh, I love this build. Oh, let's get the rabbit hail out. Get some crits real quick. Oh, are you serious? Done? That has to be like a world fucking record, or at least for me. That was like, what, a minute and 20 seconds? That is ridiculous. Let's see what Death Trap's doing. Oh, this is going off. God, just look at that. Just beautiful. Just destruction within seconds. That Crusher is dead. Oh, just beautiful. Beautiful. I actually love you now, Death Trap. Alright, just showing you here what I would use. All I changed was the shield, the black hole, and my weapons are corrosive, and the relic is corrosive. So, it's still devastating. Oh, super badass already. I love that TDR. You just shoot one and reload with massive damage. Let's get our stacks up real fast. Switch out, chug it. God, look at that damage. Oh, down but right back up. The only downside is like it just eats your bullets up, but it's worth it in my opinion. Get some healing in real fast. There goes my black hole. Shot it off. Decent damage. Decent. Oh, come on, reload. God, it takes forever to reload. Oh, we're right back up. This hail is just devastating. God, look at that. It just rains lead on him. Chuck one out. And since it's a Moxxi, it's healing us too. That thing should be dead. Oh, there it is. Yeah. I love this build. It may not be as powerful with the black hole, but it's still, as you can see, it still gets fucking work done. Who the fuck? Oh, it's this guy. Came up out of nowhere. Oh, you ain't gonna kill me. Yeah, I thought so. Oh, let's get rid of those aerial guys with Hive. Actually, I like this rocket launcher. It's just a change from the North Fleet. Get Death Trap back out. Get some lead on him. Alright, Death Trap's got him. Probably one of those flying guys. Let's go see what's up. Oh, he's gone. He dead. Where the... this is what I hate waiting for. Oh, what is it? Oh, it's the human ones. All I would do for here is change to a incinerary weapon, but I think that should be about enough for the footage of what I do against robots and everything. But yeah, that's about it. I do have footage of me and three other friends using the same exact build in Pyro Pete's bar, which is just crazy. And I'll upload that video here in a couple of days, hopefully. And let me know how you guys go about your build and what you do, what you did differently and everything. Like I'm always down for constructive criticism. I'm one of like the other uploaders that, like I said, like I have an open mind. I'm not one of those guys that's like, if you're not doing it this way, you're doing it wrong. Like fucking retards. No. But yeah, let me know in the comments and everything. And I think what I'll do is after I upload a couple more builds, I'll show footage of those builds against the raid bosses, the builds that you guys want to see go up against and everything. But yeah, till next time. Peace.